before you two got here, there was a whole conversation that ensued, which is
Like
usually the way it goes. And before you guys got here, same thing. So I'm going to kind of recap for you.
Okay.
All right. So most everyone in this room was in chaos, suffering inside their self, right? So how does that happen? It happens because we have mind chatter. We're not being mindful of the thoughts and the words that we are speaking to ourselves. We're just letting it go. And then all of a sudden, we're like, oh, I don't feel good inside myself, right? I'm feeling kind of sad or angry or frustrated, or this is what happens because we've let our mind control everything. This right here, not this. This right here is your ego. It makes you think that you know, but then all of a sudden you're in suffering. This knows. This does not. It will take you down a path that will make you suffer 100% of the time. Because this is your ego. Your ego likes to make you suffer. It takes you down paths that you don't need to go because it makes you think things that aren't true inside of yourself. This is a fact, right? Everyone has experienced it. But if we stop that mind chatter as soon as it starts, and you might have to do it 50 times a day, 100 times a day, 1,000 times a day, it doesn't matter. Because the more you do it, the more you get used to living in your heart with loving kindness, right? And then pretty soon that 50 times a day or 100 times a day gets cut back to 25 times a day or 10 times a day. And then pretty soon you don't have to think about it at all because you are living in this present moment where there is no suffering. You know things, but you don't have to suffer over the things. You don't have to attach to the things. They're just things. They're just that. They're outside of you. They're not in here. All this mind chatter is outside of you. The things you're chattering about. It's not this. It's all kinds of things about yourself that you try to convince yourself of. But when you take a breath and you're in this present moment and you start realizing the truth. Truth is we're all part of each other. That's the truth. We're all part of each other. Sounds crazy, but it's true. How is that true? Because it's part of your energy source inside yourself. You can feel it. You can walk into a room and without speaking to one person, you can feel the energy from someone and you may not want to be around that energy. You'll be like, let me back out of this room real quick, right? But they have not said a word to you, right? It's in here, you can feel in here. Or you might walk into a room and know, I really want to talk to that person, right? I want to talk to them. They haven't said anything to you. You just know that's a person I want to be over there. I don't want to be over on this side. I want to be over there, right? This is your heart telling you, okay, this is good to be around. This is not so good. This will make me go off balance. If I go over here, I'm going to hear some things, and then my mind will take over, and it's going to tilt the scale, so I'll start suffering. See, this is your heart. It doesn't say all that all at once, but it says all that all at once. Like you can feel it inside of you. It doesn't say it up here, but it says it right here because you can feel it. You either want to go over there and talk to that person, or you want to go out the door real quick and not be around it. True or not?
True, very true.
That's your heart. That's the heart. When we use this, we'll see somebody. In our mind, we'll actually see them, we'll hear them, and we'll make a judgment. This is your mind. And you'll be like, nope, I'm not going to be around that person because they just said this and da 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 da. And you're chattering inside your mind, right? But then next thing you know, you learn that this lady has cancer and that she's doing this weird little thing that she might be doing because she's suffering from cancer. But in reality, she's really very nice. You learn this because you take a step back and you're listening to everything, right? And then your heart takes it over. But every time you listen to this, it's not right. I can tell you 100% of the time, when you listen to this chatter inside yourself and you're making judgments on other people, this is your ego. This is your ego. But when you feel with your heart, when you know with your heart, this is non-self, right? This right here is a part of everything in the world. It's a beautiful thing, really. This is your go-to, right? This is how you know for sure. But most people have stopped listening to this. And they listen to this all the time. And this doesn't take them into peace. This takes them into chaos. But if they just stop for a minute and listen to this, it takes you to beautiful places. It brings you into balance. It allows you to see what your eyes cannot see, what your ears do not hear. It allows you to see beyond what we're taught to see, beyond the judgments. The judgments aren't you. They're just something you've gotten used to doing all your life. But it's not you. You are this. Loving kindness in your heart. That's who you are. That's who everybody is. Some of us have gotten sidetracked. We forgot. Little kids, when I went to the temple the first time up there, that meditation temple, there was this little boy named William. And I had never met him before. And we met everybody at the restaurant. When I went in to kneel down, that little boy came up and hugged me. I had never met him before. He didn't know who I was. But he hugged me. He didn't want to let go. He kept, I hugged him back because that's a beautiful soul, right? That's a beautiful soul. They know without knowing. They don't need to know why. He didn't need to know why he wanted to come hug me. He didn't say, is this lady good or bad? Right? He didn't go through all that in his mind. His heart felt my heart. And he was like, oh, I got to hug this, right? Because she got the same heart as I do. He was excited. That's the way it works. But you have to live in that. And every time your mind starts to wander into places that are going to take you to places you don't want to be, bring it here in this present moment. Take a breath. Feel it. Pato it up, man. Master Boomni used to say, Kim, pato, 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 make it simple. Pato, pato, pato. He'd speak that in Pali or Thai or Laos or something. And, Tom would tell me, he's saying pato, pato. I got the pato part, But he was like, make it easy on yourself. Don't think. Don't think. It's the thinking that gets you in trouble. Now, on our regular jobs, we have to think with this, right? When we're at a job and we're doing a job, we have to think with this mind. But you can have balance at that job where you think with this mind and this mind at the same time, balancing it. See? How do you do that? Well, you think about the things you have to do with this mind, right? Okay, I have to write this report, or I have to do this or that, right? But you don't think about, is that person being a jerk? That's not part of your job description, right? It's not. It's not part of your job description. That is not about you. Has nothing to do with you. So you bring yourself back into balance. Oh, that's not about me. I got to let that go. Whatever they do is about them, not me. See, you have to balance it out, because when we're in the world and we're working in the world, your mind goes, oh, that person's not being very meta, right? Your mind goes and you start, no, that's not your job.
Mm-hmm.
That is not your job. It's not about you, Master. Boomie used to tell me that too. Not about you. Sister, it's not about you. Right? Over and over again, he told me that. He'd tell Tom, not about you, son. So when you look at someone and you start to make that judgment, or you start to get irritated, or you start to get angry, or you start to get frustrated, if there's anything coming from you but love, you need to take a check and be like, that's not about me. If it's your job that you're doing, it's your job that you're doing. Don't worry about what they're doing. It's not about you. Doesn't matter. See, that's why we get so crazy at work, because we start thinking about other people. They're not doing this and they're not doing that. What are you doing? Bring yourself back to the present. Got nothing to do with you. Let it be.
At work this week, I was sitting in court. One of the judicial assistants asked me, like, why was I not helping another coworker who was very behind on her stuff? And I was like, well, I've offered, but she's told me no multiple times. She goes, well, it's your job to make sure these things are getting done. And I was just like, I don't think it's my job to manage anybody, but I will ask for help. I'll ask her again if she asks for help. But like in those types of situations, I'm not quite sure exactly what to say, because I know it's not my job, and I know if I offer my help and she doesn't want it.
So is she your boss?
No, well, she works with the judges, and the judges have say over the clerk's office.
Mm-hmm.
So the judges are like, hey, why are these orders coming in late?
Mm-hmm.
Like, we're getting them months late, and like,
Mhm.
that's not okay. So then she asks like the clerk, the
Mhm.
criminal department, like, hey, why aren't you guys getting these done? And I was like, well, I've been helping as much as I can, but I can't force her to give me her work to get it
Mhm.
done and everything like that.
So we say this. When she says that to you, say, okay.
Okay. Because I told her, I was like, I'll ask if she wants more help.
You don't need to say any of that. Just
Okay.
say, okay. Simple, right?
Very simple.
That's all you have to say.
Okay.
No one can argue with okay.
True. Nobody can. Okay.
I forgot about that one.
Yeah.
This is true.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I genuinely didn't know what to say to her.
No,
'Cause I was like,
that's all you have to say.
I was like, I don't know.
All you have to say is okay.
Okay.
And then you do what you need to do. If you need to go help the girl, go help the girl. If you can't help the girl, then help yourself. Just say okay. People will never argue with okay. What are they going to say? Okay? What do you mean okay?
Again, I've seen some attorneys.
Yeah, they do.
They could. And then you say, I just meant okay. I'll do what I can.
I will say I've seen it. Some attorneys try and argue with okay before, but it's really hard.
Yes. So, see, your ego in that wanted to defend yourself.
Yeah, because I was like, oh, I have.
But
been,
there's no
then-
need because it wasn't about you.
Yeah.
See, our ego will jump in a heartbeat. Oh no, you can't think that of me. Who cares what they think of you? Are they living your life?
No.
No. Now, in the real world, if your boss comes to you and says, I need you to do this, you're going to have to do it, right? That's your
Mhm.
job, unless it's something that, is illegal or whatever. But you don't have to make it about you. It's just a job, right?
Mhm.
You don't have to say, oh my goodness, I'm not doing my job, blah, de, blah, de, blah. You can just say, oh, okay, I'll do that. Don't get attached to what they're saying. Why are you going to get attached to it? Why you want it to make you feel bad? You don't have to. It's just that. Oh, you want me to go over there and help them with that paperwork? Okay. Okay. No big deal. It's the attachment of, oh, they're telling me that I need to do something that I can't do, that da 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 da, and your mind just chatters away. There's always different ways to approach things. So like with that girl, if can't get her job done and you've offered, you can go over there and go, look, I just got in trouble. So I want to help you. So we both don't get in trouble. Let's do this together.
And that's what I ended up doing. I was like, it's not like I finished my work. I
Mhm.
have nothing to do. I need to do something. I can't just sit here.
Yeah.
And then she's like, are you sure? And I was like, yeah, I
See,
actually need
She
to.
really wanted you to help her.
Yeah. I just didn't think she wanted to inconvenience me. And I was like, but you're not.
So in the end, you helped her anyway.
I did. Yeah.
Yes. So all that stuff
Mm-hmm.
was your ego.
Yeah.
Let it go. It's not about you. It's just a job. It's paperwork.
Yeah.
That's really what it is, right? It's
It is just
paperwork.
paperwork. Yeah.
Yeah. So it's got nothing to do with your soul, your heart.
Nothing to do with
Nothing to do with your heart at all. But we take things and make it as if it's this, if it's this. This is who you are, this heart inside. This body right here, this mind is just that. It's a vehicle you are driving while you are here on this earth. We all have one, right? We're all driving this vehicle. But if you let what other people say about this vehicle, this is your engine, right? And you're letting people talk to you, and then you let your engine start up, and it's affecting the gas tank that makes it drive, right? Right? It's affecting this. This is where your blood gets circulated. This is what keeps you going, right? But it's really what tells you things inside yourself, right? You can feel it. When you love someone, right? You can feel it. It's in here. You feel it in here, right? You don't feel it in here. You feel it here. So this is what really makes you run. We think it's here because if we go to school, if we make good grades, if we do good at our job, all these things, right? That society tells us that we need to do to be a good person. How often do you hear in society, oh, to be a good person, you got to listen to your heart, right? That's the truth, right? That is the truth. If you're a good person, you're listening to your heart, you're being kind, right? That's the truth, and it generates. We're taught this is it. This is number one. If you're not smart, you're nobody. This is it. But that's not a truth. That is not a truth. Some of the wisest people I have met didn't go to school. They did not go to school. They spent their lifetime in the forest. But oh my goodness, You think they suffer? Not a minute. Yes.
No, it's just so funny what you just said. I was listening to a documentary today, and it said the same thing. Like, he made a statement. He was the person is like a big figure,
Mm-hmm.
right? And he was on the radio station. This is something that happened in the early '80s, and they asked him a question. He was just like, most of the people that we in society believe in or listen to or know never went to school. And the guy thought he had him. He's like who? He started naming all the biblical people like Jesus, Moses, this person. None of them had it, but we
Right.
follow them. We listen to them.
Right.
So what made you think I need a degree to
Right.
be this smart person that
Right.
you know? So it's
Exactly
funny when you
right.
said that, and I was saying the same thing. I'm going to use that one day.
Yes.
It's
a truth.
It really is. Because now in society, if you don't have a degree, people don't even want to look at you.
Yes.
And I always said, yeah, we all went to school, but it's nothing. I always told my friends that. I'm like, that's not going to make you who you are. I had a friend last night, and she's just like, I'm not doing anything until I get my master's degree. I don't care what guy comes in my life, whatever. I just listen to her.
Mm-hmm.
Really good friend, just a friend.
Mm-hmm.
And I didn't want to judge. I didn't want to say anything, but in my mind, I'm like, this is the world that we live in. And I'm like, what if something really, really great comes in your life? Oh, I have to have my master's. I have to do this. And I'm like, okay. I literally, and that's another thing. I use okay a lot, and people take that offensive.
Mm-mm.
A lot.
It's a non-
And I was imagining
Yeah.
someone call me or scream like, Ross, I don't understand. You do this, you do this. I'm like, okay. And they get more angry. So it's funny when you said that.
But that's not a,
They
you
do
know,
that, but now you're not
they
knowing
might get angry,
It's
but
both.
that anger is about them,
Them,
not
that.
you.
Seriously.
I know, that's
I
what
had
she
that
said
experience
here.
all week.
But doesn't that
Okay.
mean that they're getting angry with you because you didn't give them the answer? Because
Yeah.
they called you and they're your
That's
friend,
what it
but
is.
I
sometimes
almost.
they get mad because you don't give them the answer they want to hear.
Yeah.
And okay is not what they wanted to
I
hear.
almost questioned myself. I'm not even gonna lie. They're like, why do you always say okay? Why is everything okay with you? And I swear, I said, because everything is okay.
Mhm.
They're like, I don't get it. You have a problem. You need to start talking. I swear, I'm not making this
Yeah,
up.
I know this is true. I know it's
And
true.
even like my husband at home, he's giving, because I'm like, it's nothing to worry about, baby. It's not gonna matter.
Right.
It's just, and he's like, oh, you need to start that. It's like, no, why?
You know
Because it's
how
not
I
gonna.
feel right now?
It's okay. It's not gonna matter.
I'm always saying
I'm
okay.
not
Just
taking
this
it
week.
in.
Yes.
Someone got so angry at me.
Yes.
Tell me all the things that I know that I'm not.
Yeah.
Nothing bothers
Yeah.
you. You don't want to say anything.
I don't
Every
get
time you know the issue, you just say, you brush it off. And it's okay with you. And I said,
Because
okay.
you're okay.
And women, yeah.
And I question
They're-
myself.
They're angry.
I feel so good right now.
They're angry because
I thought
No.
I really did. For 2 days, I'm never gonna lie. I mean, I told myself, I know I'm okay. So I'm like, okay, Russell, are you just really pushing people
see, they
off?
pulled you in.
They did.
They sucked you in. Yes.
I'm like, am I really pushing people off, or I really don't feel anything? Not in a negative way.
Right.
And
No, that's not negative.
I even went in a spin and listen. I know the world, there's negative and there's positive, there's black and white, good and evil. I know these things, but I choose to be good. I choose to be on the positive side.
Right.
So
Right.
no matter what's happening, I'm looking at the positive side.
Right.
It's not because I'm ignoring you or I think I live in a fantasy world. You need to be in reality.
Look,
I'm like,
misery loves
That's
company.
it.
You know.
I'm sorry. I had to say that. I
And
didn't think
it's
this was
not-
coming. This is what I've been going through. I'm always saying, okay.
This is the way it is. This is the way it happens. What you need, you get. Always. So the thing is that when people say those things to you, it's because they're feeling something inside themselves.
Mhm.
And they see somebody at peace and they're thinking,
How was he like?
how can he do that and I can't do that? You know, and it takes effort. It takes work to do that.
And I told him that
Yeah.
too. I'm like, listen, it took me a while to get here. Not because I like to lie to myself. And that's what you're like, you're lying to yourself. I'm like, I'm not. It took me a while to get here. And I'm admitting to you guys, I really took a step back and like, I don't care or something. But I was like, nah, I really just don't feel anything. I'm not gonna allow anything to anybody to tell me something I know that I'm not.
Right.
Because they're not getting that reaction. And I had to talk to myself, but I've been going through this, even with relationships.
Yes.
So I've been in a relationship, they'll come up with a problem, and I look and I'm like, it's okay. No, it's not. No, it's not. It's not okay. You just think everything is okay.
This is
right?
people in chaos. Do you see? This is true. This is chaos. That's what happens in chaos.
But
You know,
listening
yeah.
to him talk and say that they get frustrated with him because he's okay and they're his friends. If my friend's okay, I'm gonna say, I'm glad you're okay.
Yeah, but that's you.
Not right, but I mean, I used to just go to the mall and I used to see people smiling and I would sit there and I would go. And this is after all my choices that I made. And I would get upset because people were smiling. I was thinking, what the hell have they got to smile so much?
Yes, I remember those days.
Why would I say it out loud?
Yes, you would say it out loud.
Oh.
Yes.
Well,
But
I was just thinking.
this is, see, these are good examples because what you're seeing, right? What you're seeing are reflections. Now, how could that be? Because you're okay.
I am.
You're okay. But yet that person is a reflection. Doesn't mean it's a reflection of you at this moment.
It almost got me. I mean, it almost got me. I was
So
took a step.
if it's
I did.
not you at this moment, if it's not you at this moment, it was you before.
That kind of popped up this week as like, you always talk about we go through things in life so that if somebody else needs help, we can help them through that, through our own experiences. And I had a friend reach out to me who was having this medical procedure done, like a CT scan and a colonoscopy. And I've had both of them and we're at the same age. So she was asking me all this advice and she was like, how are you not freaking out? How did you not like do all these things? And I was like, oh, because I've been there. And I was like, oh my God, Kim, it's coming full circle. Zach's like, you're so calm about her talking about these things and she's freaking out. And I was like, well, I've been there. I know how scary it is to not know these procedures and like not sure what's going to happen or if you're going to get answers, if you're not going to get answers to these things. And now that I'm on the other side of it, I was like,
It's easy to see.
like, oh, I wish I hadn't have freaked out. Well, I did. There's nothing I can do to change about now. But now I'm like, I can help her not freak out and not, get so wrapped up on finding these answers. I'm like, it's mostly self-inflicted as our bodies like doing all these
It
things.
is, and this is what we do every single week, which is what happened this week, which is how we got on this subject, right? We do this every week, and we forget where we need to be, like how to get there. Take a breath. Take a breath. Go back to the basics. What are the basics? The truth inside yourself. Doesn't matter what anybody says outside of you. What does it matter? They do not live your life. There is not one person in my family that does what I do. He's here, but he just started coming, right? My whole family thinks I'm a little cuckoo, right? But I don't care because it's me. I'm doing me. And they're doing them. That's okay. They might be in a little chaos. That's them, not me. If they need help, they'll ask for it. If not, they're okay with their chaos. It's not about you. If you practice that little sentence, it's not about me. It's not about me. If you had said that when that person was questioning you, just in your mind, that's not about me, that's about them. That's not about me, that's about them. You would have never questioned yourself.
That was after I sat back. I'm like, because they sounded, even though it wasn't about me, they sounded so hurt that like I've done something bad to them. And I'm not.
So
word.
I'm going to say, I'm going to tell you that there's a few that haven't gotten angry with me and upset with me about something that I said that was truth. There's a few in this class, but the majority have been angry with me at some point about me telling them the truth. And if I took it on, we would not be sitting here today. But I had enough knowledge from some really great teachers that taught me it's not about you. The only thing about you is this right here. This right here. This is about you. Whatever anybody says outside of you, that's not about you. Even though they're saying your name and they're saying it is about you, it doesn't make it truth. It's just something they're saying. It's like the stories we tell ourselves in our mind. It doesn't mean it's true. And most of the time, it's not. It's creating suffering inside of us. So we're telling our chatter, 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 and then we're in suffering because we told ourselves a bunch of lies. It's the same thing. Like, look at those people as they're talking to you and think, boy, that was my mind chatter at one time. Right?
Yeah.
That was me once.
Yeah. And I told him that. I always give it.
Don't tell them that because that makes them mad. Yeah. Well, that's why they got mad at you, Russell.
I was there. I'm like, I said,
Is there any water down there?
Well,
I probably should grab a
That's why they got angry.
Thank
no,
you.
Because-
before that, but after I'm not listening, they calmed down because I'm gonna be honest with you. This has been great. Everything that we've been doing, I've been learning a lot. I'm a patient person,
Yes.
but now I'm way more patient because I really feel like this is what mostly the world needs: patience. So it taught me a lot of patience. What you told us last week, I really took that in. That everything that's happening to you, I'm like, what is it that I'm most learning? Because I've put myself in a lot of situations.
Mm-hmm.
I've learned, I've grew, I've gained some few things, and I'm still learning humbly. But I noticed that, Russell, you need to be patient because sometimes I can see things before it even happen.
Mm-hmm.
So if I see that the problem is coming, I try to save that person or that thing or that situation, right? That's what I used to do
Yes.
before because I don't want them to go through it.
Right.
But now, when they started talking, I knew they were coming out of anger, coming out of things that they've been through. So it's like they don't understand how I'm handling the way I'm handling the situation.
Mm-hmm.
So after they calm down, I'm like, listen, what happened? I understand. I've been here before. But you have to stop thinking about yourself. What you do is not about you. It's more than that. It's bigger than you think. So don't try to make me feel like I'm doing something so bad to you, right? Because it's the same energy. You give me,
Mm-hmm.
and I give it back to you, regardless of the situation is. So that's what really taught me, just that patient, and also after I said, yeah, I've been there, but we laughed about it, and I said that's what's important, you know.
So I'm gonna say, when I say you've been there, you say it to yourself. Say it inside, like, oh yes, in compassion for that person. You see, because when you tell them I've been there, that's saying I'm no longer with you.
Making them feel like
Right.
you think you're
Less
better
than.
than. Yeah, making
Yes.
them feel less than.
And even though they laughed with you, they don't have the knowledge that you have, right? They haven't taken that journey, obviously, or they wouldn't be yelling and telling you this. So they're unable right now to see things the way you see them. They can't.
Yep.
And I'm going to tell you that it happens every single day of my life. And you have to make a choice as you're on this journey, right? And if someone does not ask for your help, don't give it. When someone needs help, they will reach out to you. And while you are starting to learn, it's a good idea not to try to teach someone, Because what happens is if you get into your stuff a little bit, if you have a day where you're not in your best and they see it, they will use it against you. They will say, oh, you're talking this, but you're not living it. Right?
Yeah.
And it happens, and I can tell you from experience, because there was a time when I had not studied with who I had studied, and I was not living my life all the way I should, right? And I would say something, well, you're not doing it, right? And then that's a crush to the ego, because the ego wants to tell people about it. I see people all the time. Now, that lady, when I knocked on her door and she was angry, right? I could have gone through a whole thing with her. But at that moment, I said, no, that's not about me. All I'm going to do is generate loving kindness to her, right? Humbly. I was humble to her. Oh, I'm sorry. Yes, I have a card. Here's my card. I spoke very kindly to her. She was not giving it back to me, but that was her, not me. I didn't take it personal. I got in the car just like I came. I was fine. But we tend to, we teeter back and forth. And until we reach a point where we're not doing that, when we speak and we try to teach people, it will smack us in the face. And it does it every time. And it may not be at that very moment. So you have to be careful in your, how you approach people and what you do, because the world is angry. It's angry, which is why I decided to teach this, right? I got back from Thailand and the world was angry here. Turns out it's all over the world, not just here. But it was angry. And my thought inside myself was, how can I help? Because I'm not in that, right? I've been given a gift from a lot of monks who taught me, here, when you feel like this is what you use. When you feel like that, that's what you use, right? Starting with Master Bhumni, Sajatam, Metatam, Kirtitam, Wuriyatam, Obekatam, right? He said, this is what you use, right? Okay, I took it. Then anytime I need it, I use it. It's in my toolbox. I've been told all kinds of things by many, had a lot of teachers, lots of teachers, good and bad. The worst teacher taught me some of the best things. It's true. Oh, he was awful, but it was good. See, all at the same time. What's good is bad. What's bad is good. What we see with our eyes and hear with our ears is not necessarily true. So as we go on this journey, there's things that we have to remember. First of all, anything anyone else says is not about you. Secondly, you need to do you. Do you. Nobody else. You cannot fix anybody else. You can share, but they're not going to listen because you can't fix them. You can only fix you. And what happens is when you fix you, they see it. And they're like, oh, okay, I want some of that. How do I get some of that? Right? That's what they do. They ask you. What are you doing? You look different. Are you doing something? What are you doing? They will ask you, geez, you look younger. They will say those things to you because you no longer have the worry on your face. You do look younger because you don't have the worry on your face. You know, this is truth. The more you practice at this, the better it is. The less you actually have to practice. The more you practice at it, then pretty soon it's already second nature. It's second nature. You don't have to even think about it. All of a sudden, you're just doing it. That's how it works. But if you let yourself, even for a minute, go into the, then you got to work yourself back out. Right? If you go into the suffering, you got to work yourself back out of the suffering because you've already gone in it. Now, it could only take a second if you allow yourself. Like you could just be like, oh, I just went into suffering. Let me bring myself here. Let me take a breath. Here I am. Oh, okay. I can let that go. It's already gone. By the time you do that, it's already gone because you can only think about one thing at a time. And when I say that, most people go, Try it. Think about two things at once. It's impossible. Can't happen. Your mind keeps flip, flop, flip, flop, flip, flop. You cannot do it. It's impossible to think about more than one thing at a time. So if you're thinking, I'm here in this present moment, already that thought that was making you suffer is already gone. The only reason it comes back is because you pull it back. Oh, wait, what was I thinking about? That's what happens. You're in your breath. There's peace. Oh, wait, I was thinking about something. And there you go. You're out of your peace again. Just that quick. But you can bring it back just that quick too. It's the same. You can either be here in the suffering really quickly, or you can be out of it really quickly. Either one. You can do both. You do both, actually. But if you create this balance, then all of a sudden you're neither. You're just here. You're not suffering. You're not real excited. You're just here. And this is peace. This is where it resides. In this little space of not sad, not too happy, just right here. You're balancing it. And that's a beautiful place to be. Now, Kathy took a little journey with me this weekend. And it was an unexpected, I would say, for her, the amount of meditation that she had to do. She didn't actually have to do it.
Not to do anything.
Right. But she just made a choice. And we were there with some master monks who can meditate for hours, literally, at a time. And so
Folded legs on a stump in the middle of the woods.
yes. Yeah.
He
Master Sen can sit on a stump with his legs crossed in the middle of the woods for hours. I have seen it. I know it is true. Right. And not move. And at one point, Kathy was like, I thought he was going to levitate because he was just in that peace. You know, it was just there. Right. So if we can take ourselves and let ourselves just experience, right? Just you experience it, it's done, right? It was hard because we did hours of meditation.
I will say doing the hours of meditation made it easier for me to get up every day since, and that's only been 2 days, and do my meditation and do my chanting.
Yes.
Because it's not 2 hours of
Right. And see, it was a good exercise, number one, in impermanence. Like nothing lasts forever. Even though as you're sitting there and you've been meditating for an hour already, And you're like, okay, when is he going to stop? Right? When is he going to give us a break? When are we going to stop? This is your mind chatter that's going on. I don't know how much more I can take. I don't know. But, as this is going on in your mind, if you had said, oh, impermanence, this is going to end and there will be peace, right? But instead we're, how do I know? I've done it, right? So if you know that there's peace coming, you can endure anything for a short amount of time. Now we know we're not going to be there but for 2 days. So it couldn't last any longer than that. Right? This is true. But yet when we got home, it still was in your mind because you attached. If you just let it be, that's what it was. It was an experience. That was it. It was done. But you attached. And then you ran that suffering over in your mind and wondered, oh, what am I doing? What am I doing? Am I doing it right? Am I doing it wrong? Things go through your mind. And that is what creates the chaos and the suffering. All you have to do is, that was that. It's done. It's finished. Everything that we go through finishes. It ends at some point, right?
And so the bottom line is, I'm not going to be a monk. I mean, in this
You
lifetime,
couldn't be a
and I
monk if
don't
you
want-
wanted
I
to.
don't want to. It came out, didn't it?
Yes.
There's another knot that I'll have to experience.
Yeah. Congratulations on that. So Kathy is learning that the things that you say, I don't want, usually come to you.
Mm-hmm.
They usually come to you because that's a want. Whether it's I don't or I do, it's a want, which means it's an attachment. And so 2 of you in this class have said those things and ended up by doing the things you didn't want to do. Kathy told me she didn't want to be a driver. She drove me to Pennsylvania.
In the rain, in the dark.
Yes.
Up a mountain, down a
And she
mountain.
was like, I don't like the dark and I don't like the rain when I'm driving. So it rained and the darkness came, right?
And there's no, like, in Pennsylvania, there's none of those reflectors in the middle of the road?
Mm-hmm.
So you learned, right? We
was
made it.
Temporary.
It was temporary. See, if we know, again, everything in our life is temporary, impermanent. Impermanent. I can remember when I was a kid thinking, oh, nothing lasts. You think that when you're a kid. Like, I'm going to do this, but it won't last, and then they'll come and do something else.
But yeah, it's true. When you're a kid, I mean,
Yeah.
even when you're sitting at church as a kid, you're like, well, this isn't gonna last forever. I know here soon we're gonna be doing this.
Right.
So all you gotta do is just get through this part right now.
Exactly.
Mm-hmm.
As a kid, we say that to ourselves.
It's not gonna last forever. It's almost over.
Yes.
It's okay.
Yes. Exactly. But as an adult, we forgot. That's why kids are happy-go-lucky, right? They don't care, right?
Because they know.
William, bless his heart, he's all over the place. He's off the chain. He's a good kid. And that's what he does. It's not going to last forever. I'm just going to hang out, and do what I do. If we can get that in our mind, it won't last forever. Nothing lasts forever. Everything is impermanent. Good, bad, or indifferent. It's impermanent. It's not going to last.
Mm-hmm.
So you can go through it and let it be. And then peace comes, balance comes. And it might go. If you think about something that's going to make it go, take a breath and bring it back. Let it go. Bring it back. Don't attach to it. We attach to it. I want to learn this. I want to be able to meditate like a monk. Well, you know, the thing of it is when you attach to something, it's going to create suffering. It just does. Because it's not going to last forever. That's what happens. That's why the suffering comes, because we're wanting it to last or not to last. Right?
And kids got a
It's-
name.
Yeah, it's the
Vivian
wanting.
had a partial root canal this week.
Mm.
And so the doctor expected her to cry. It was pleasant surprise that she didn't. And she said something that just popped in my mind right when we were talking about all this. She said, the doctor was like, oh, I'm surprised you didn't cry. And she's like, I slammed my finger in the door. That little needle didn't hurt me. That slamming my finger in the door hurt more, so that was nothing. It's nothing.
It's nothing.
It's nothing.
Yes.
It's nothing.
See, children are good teachers.
Oh man, they are.
Because first of all, their ego is not in the way, right? Because they're not thinking, I'm going to teach this to somebody. They're speaking their truth. They're only speaking what's true inside their heart. That's an amazing little thing, right? They're great teachers. They teach us a lot. I watch little kids all the time.
That's why they got those little special words they call, like when their feet fall asleep and they sparkled instead of.
Yeah,
it's
sometimes they make up their own language.
simple.
You know, my grandson had a whole language of his own. He made up words. I was like, good for you, right? Good for you. This is how it is. Our ego as adults gets in the way of our progress. The minute you let it go, you proceed. Sounds funny, but it's true. We're all the time thinking. That's your ego. Just be in this moment. Just be in this moment. Let it be. Let's it go. Let's it be. The monks would say in Thailand. Let's it go. Let's it be. Like, what's wrong with you? Why you got to be like that? Just let it go. You don't have to hang on to it. Let it go. It comes in, it goes out. It comes in, it goes out, right? We learned that on a retreat. Y'all remember that? It comes in, it goes out. Just like that. Just like the ocean flowing in and out. The shells don't stay there. They flow in and out, right? One day you might see this one. The next day you're not going to see it. It's gone. This is life. Let it flow like that. When you're laying on a raft in the water and it's doing this, it feels good, right? Because you're not trying to control anything. You're just... It's when we try to control everything. And that is this. That's not this. That's this. And you cannot control it. You can't. You can't control anything outside of yourself. And most of the time we can't control our mind. So how do you expect to control something outside of you? You can't. You have to come in deep inside yourself. Inside yourself, right? Find that goodness in your heart. Don't worry about anything else. Nobody else out here. That's not about you. Not about you. Just this. Breathing, letting it flow inside of you. That's how it works. That's how it works. All right, so we're 7:54. I have a couple things to say before we do a meditation. Number one, the monks in Pittsburgh had invited us to come to their 10-year celebration.
Beautiful.
And so they will have, place for all of us to stay for free. It's nice if we can donate to them because they live off donations. And they will, I'm pretty sure they're not going to do as much meditation as Kathy had to go through. But they will be teaching us meditation, walking meditation, sitting meditation, standing meditation. They'll teach us all of that and probably a lot more. And so it's September 25th and 26th. So I was thinking maybe we could get like a van or a bus. We could all pitch in and rent one and all ride together and make it a road trip and a fun little thing if you guys want to. It's not something that everybody has to do if they don't want to do it, but I can tell you that it will be an experience. It's in the middle of Pittsburgh, but when you get there, it is forest. Like, it's beautiful. The deer's eating the yard. Isn't it, Kathy? It's you can't explain it really because you are in the city, but it's like a magical garden. Like, you go in there, there's groundhogs, and you get to witness things. There was a baby deer that almost every time I walked out, it was there. I took pictures, because it was just an amazing thing. And it's very peaceful. It's peaceful. And it doesn't look like a temple because it's a house. It's a small little Cape Cod brick house. And then in the backyard is the garden, but you have to walk back. You can't see the garden from the house. You walk back and it's just, really very beautiful and peaceful and calming. And they are, the one monk, Sin, he's 56. They said.
The
50.
forest monk?
56. And he has been a monk since he was, 36 years. That's how long he's been a monk. And he
He has a baby face. He's a short, stout man, right? But he looks like a baby.
because he had us in his heart. Master Tom Bai had that same face. Mm-hmm. And so he doesn't really speak a lot because he doesn't need to, right? They don't speak when they don't need to. But Sang is the oldest, and he is also the one that has been a monk for the shortest amount of time. I think maybe 15 years, I'm not sure. Yeah, I'm sure it's at least 15, but he's 73, but he doesn't look 73. And he's got the energy of a 20-year-old.
Very good.
Yes. And so he talks, he'll tell you all kinds of stuff. And then the Ajahn Sayan, he has been there the least amount of time, I think. Well, he's been at this place for 6 years, I think he said. But he's been a monk longer than Sang has. But anyway, there's 3 of them, and they complement each other well, I think, because they're all different. And so it will be interesting if everybody wants to go. We can plan a trip and make it a road trip, and it'll be a great adventure, guaranteed. So Sang is one of the monks that I knew in Thailand, and he came to America about a month ago, maybe. And so out of respect, I went to see him, and that's when they asked me to come, help teach over there. But they all have a lot of metta, and you can feel it. So, the other thing is I will be gone next week. I am going back to my sister's for 10 days. She has asked me to come out and help her. So I'm going out there. And so, again, I'm going to say, if you guys want to meet here, if Vanessa wants to open the office, she can do that because she's a realtor here and she's got the key. So she can do that. But we need to know so that you can make a plan. And I will be live online with you from Arizona.
Okay.
So this is my effort for you all.
Thank you.
So you all hopefully will make your effort for you, right? It's not for me. And remember this. Whatever effort you do, it's not for me. It's for you. Because you are the one on this journey. You are the one. It's your peace you want, not mine. It's your peace you want. And what happens when y'all get your peace, then we'll all be in peace together. And it'll be like, the universe rotates in a certain way. They chant in a certain way. It's all in a rhythm. Everything in the universe is in a rhythm. Y'all are getting ready to get into your rhythm. Right?
Mm-hmm.
I believe that in my heart. And when you do, we'll all be in rhythm together. So we'll all be a part of a beautiful happening. All right, so meditation. Would we like to?
Yes, please.
All right, sit up straight, hands in your lap. We're going to take a deep breath in, let it out. Take a deep breath in. As you bring it in, follow it down through your throat, down into your lungs. And when you let it out, follow it back up. And one more time, take a deep breath in, follow it down, and follow it back up. Take a deep breath in. Let it out. Breathe in. Let it out. And one more time. In and out. Open your eyes. So let's do the metta chant if y'all don't mind. Metta Jeto Vimuttiya Karuna Jeto Vimuttiya Mudita Jeto Vimuttiya Ubeka Jeto Vimuttiya. Adu.
Thank you.
So you know that chant. You can. You know that chant.